This is my story where I turned into a woman by witch magic, and now my best friend is my boyfriend, and I love him so much. I never should have accepted the challenge. Halloween is supposed to be about harmless scares, trick-or-treating, and maybe a few haunted houses here and there. But when the guys dared me to visit the infamous Blackwood Manor, alone, my pride wouldn't let me say no. The house had a reputation. People said it was haunted by witches who dabbled in dark magic. I laughed it off, pretending I wasn't scared. After all, it was just an old, abandoned house, right? As I stood in front of the wrought iron gates, my stomach churned. The house loomed, dark and ominous, its windows like soulless eyes staring into mine. The wind howled through the skeletal trees, and somewhere in the distance, I swore I heard something scream. But it was probably just a bird, or at least that's what I told myself. With one last glance behind me, I pushed open the gate and stepped onto the cracked stone path. The front door creaked ominously as I pushed it open. The air inside was thick, almost suffocating, and the smell of dust and mildew assaulted my senses. I turned on my flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness, but it didn't do much to quell my growing unease. I explored the downstairs rooms cautiously, finding nothing out of the ordinary, just the usual signs of abandonment. But as I reached the second floor, something caught my attention. At the end of a long hallway there was a door. Unlike the others, this one was slightly ajar, and a strange light seemed to be flickering from inside. With a deep breath I approached. I could feel my heart pounding against my ribcage, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. I nudged the door open and stepped inside. The room was peculiar. It looked like something out of an old witch's cottage. A cauldron in the corner, shelves lined with strange, glowing bottles and jars filled with unidentifiable substances. The air had a strange, herbal scent, mixed with something metallic. My curiosity got the better of me, and I started touching everything, from the dried herbs hanging from the ceiling to the strange, bubbling liquids in small vials. That's when I saw it. A bottle, slightly larger than the others, filled with a shimmering, iridescent liquid, seemed to call to me. My hands moved before I could stop myself, and I uncorked it. The scent was sweet, almost intoxicating, and before I knew it, I had taken a sip. Immediately, I knew something was wrong. It started with a tingling sensation like static electricity, running through my body. I dropped the bottle, watching in horror as the liquid spilled out on the floor. But my panic was short-lived because something else took over. My voice changed. It sounded softer, higher. I gasped, clutching my throat as I tried to speak again, but it was no use. My voice was undeniably feminine now. Then came the glow. My entire body was radiating a soft, warm light. I stumbled back, looking down as my hands began to change. Slimmer, more delicate. My arms followed, and I watched in horror as my chest pushed out, forming curves I had never had before. My jeans and t-shirt began to morph, the fabric shifting and twisting as they transformed into something unmistakably feminine. A dress. My legs felt longer, my waist cinched in, and I could feel my hair growing, cascading down my back in soft waves. My thoughts began to change too. At first it was subtle, just a passing thought about how cute my new dress was. Then it became more insistent. Makeup. Fashion. I found myself thinking about lipstick, eyeshadow, boys. Things that had never crossed my mind before. But I couldn't stop. No matter how much I fought it, my mind kept shifting. No, this isn't me. I shouted in my new, feminine voice. I had to get out of there. I bolted from the room, running down the stairs, out of the house, and all the way back to my place. But when I opened the door to my bedroom, I froze. Everything had changed. My room was pink, soft pastel pink. There were teddy bears on my bed, makeup kits scattered across my vanity, and girly clothes in my closet. It was like I had walked into someone else's life. As I stared at the makeup, something stirred inside me. A new urge. I didn't want to, but I couldn't stop myself. I reached for the foundation, dabbing it on my face. Then the mascara, the lipstick. It all felt so right. Before I knew it, I had painted my nails a bright red and slipped into a gorgeous red dress I found hanging in the closet. I stared at myself in the mirror, hardly recognizing the girl looking back at me. But she was beautiful, and the more I looked, the more I liked it. That night, I fell asleep confused, terrified of what was happening to me. But when I woke up, things got even stranger. Everyone, my family, my friends, saw me as a girl. No one questioned it. To them, I had always been a girl, and the name Ben was gone. Now I was Bella. My room had always been girly, they said. My clothes, my life. All of it had changed, but no one but me seemed to notice. The world saw me as someone else entirely. I went to school that morning wearing a schoolgirl uniform, a plaid skirt and a tight blouse. As I walked down the halls, boys glanced my way, flirting and complimenting me. My heart raced with emotions I didn't understand. And in class there was this one boy, who was cute. I felt something strange when I looked at him, something I had never felt for anyone before. Days passed, and I found it harder and harder to remember who I used to be. My thoughts were consumed with makeup, clothes, and boys. My voice was naturally feminine now, and I was dating the cute guy from class. I knew something was wrong. Deep down, I remembered who I used to be. But that memory was slipping further and further away, buried beneath layers of who I had become. Now, I don't know if I'll ever find a way back to my old self. And strangely, I'm not sure I want to.